going to call to order and start our meeting, and we will have a quorum very, very shortly. So then we'll go back, do our roll call, and announce that we have a quorum to be able to vote on things. So this is our call to order. It is February 8th. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Uh-oh. You okay?
Everyone's okay, and I'll welcome everybody who's hovering in the back to come and sit down. There are plenty of open seats, and neither Richard nor I bites. Well, this board and the department recognizes that this past month has been challenging as we struggle to comprehend the tragic events in Memphis. Our thoughts go out to the family of Mr. Tyree Nichols, and we'll have a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. We'll start our meeting with our open discussion. Chief, would you like to present your report?
Yes, I would. I want to welcome everybody to our updated facility here. It's been a lot of time and effort in updating this so that we hope everything works okay today for the first time. So, open discussion. We'll start out with our budget report. Ms. Joyce Hill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Very short and sweet. There's not a lot to report at this time in the year. It's really too early for anything from 23. We only have about a month's worth of expenditures in there. 2022, they officially closed the books the weekend of President's Weekend. So that's on the 20th. We'll have a total final report. I don't expect much to change between now and then. And at this point, we've spent about 97.5% of our budget, leaving a remaining 2.5%, which is about $4 million. So we did very well in meeting our budget needs without asking for an additional appropriation, things like that. They did add the 23,800,000 for the rec center, the range, and the property control. They added that to this year's budget that will be reappropriated for next year because it wasn't spent. So that number, I had to take that number out to get the 97.5 and 2.5 because we didn't spend that. So really, that's really all I have right now. There's not a lot, on either side of that. The 2024 budget system, we'll start doing that in like April or May. And so those are things to start thinking about what we need for the future.
So for 2023, we're 1 month into spending. Do we have a projection? I know there's a difference between how many positions we have allowed and how many we have filled. And I know that there was a switch with the way that we budgeted for that.
Yeah, it's really too soon to tell, because we budget enough for everybody who was employed, during the budget process and, have kept all those positions. So we'll be able to, see that more clearly in a couple of months to see how if what we're spending matches what they gave us. So it'll be a little while before we can tell if we're going to need to tweak that number, ask them for some more money or something. It's just really too soon right now.
So I'm going to ask you a question knowing that it's too soon, but I just want to sort of foreshadow something that I'll probably continue asking you throughout the year. So with the switch in the budgeting and our switch to 12-hour shifts, I imagine we're going to see a change in overtime and the staffing levels, and that's going to affect how we're spending.
Right.
at some point, I feel like there's going to be enough months that we'll be able to say, okay, now we know what it's going to look like. Let's project the rest of the year.
Right.
And so I'll just ask you that question.
I would hope that, a whole quarter would be really
Mhm.
good to be able to see where we're at. Because like you said, the 12-hour shifts, I think they anticipated a reduction in overtime because of that. Of course, we also paid shift differential. There's, and then things happen that cause overtime to increase. I think generally, like people taking vacations is more in the summer that stuff goes up, so we have to cover more with overtime. But I would think that after a quarter, we could have a kind of an idea of where we're at. And we
Okay.
can, that would be a good time then for the 2024 budget to be able to come up with some good numbers for 2024 and also to see if we need to ask for a supplemental or something.
Okay, sounds good. So somewhere around April, we'll revisit that.
I would think so.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the approval of the recent maternity leave will probably have some type of effect on overtime and the money that we're going to be spending for that. So, that'll affect some of that also. So,
Chief, do you mind
Yeah.
if we take a quick pause and have our roll call in
Yes.
order to officially be in a quorum? Maybe have our roll call
Commissioner Banks?
Here.
Commissioner Hassler? Commissioner Schwerin?
here. So may it be on the record that we have a quorum. Thank you. Sorry, Chief.
Morning, members of the board.
Good morning.
All right, so crime stats for a new year. We've put a few new slides into this and taken some things out, trying to revamp it just a little bit. As we always start, notable events, which is basically our Internal Affairs Bureau of Professional Standards. Citizen complaints, as you can see, stay stagnant from last year, the 1-to-1. The internal investigations down just slightly, but I think looking at the 8% is actually looks more because, and it's we're only down 1, 12 to 11. Use of force incidents up 84%. So looking deeper into those numbers, about 74%, 73.5% of those uses of force were all physical restraint. The other 26.5 roughish percent would be a combination of we had a few tasers, a few physical strikings, maybe 1 or 2 pepper sprays, and then 1 firearm discharge, which was a policeman was being attacked by a dog. So that's the uptick in some of those uses of force. Department vehicle accidents were up as well, which is not a good thing to start the year. Nearly 60%, 19 to 12. I looked to see, obviously, we had a couple of bad weather days, if that would justify that number, but we only had 2 that were labeled because of weather. So we just need a little bit better driving. Vehicle pursuits, again, up slightly. The number shows 50%, but really we're so early in the year that's 6 to 4. And then the main portion of this, the failure to yields. So as you can see, we are up 237% from where we were the first time last year. So in January of 22 was the first time that we captured this number. A lot of that is going to be driven by the precincts alone have done, and Colonel Cox's division and patrol have done a lot more special enforcements during this year in January than we did last year. So a lot of those failure to yields are derived from that. As I go to the next slide, you can see that some of those special enforcements, and I look at Captain Cavaletti, it's accurate to say that you guys had several special enforcements over the month of January, and you can see those are amongst usually the 1st, 2nd, and 8th precincts. And you can see that 133 and 132 of those, which is 63% overall in the 1st precinct in Jennings.
Before we move on, department vehicle accidents, does that capture everything from a fender bender to a collision, serious collision?
Yes.
So if we look at the 35, I know that you have the data, but have you looked at the data to determine sort of the range? Like, are we having more?
So I can
Minor
print a report
fender-
that has like total damage estimate, like loss, like a cost.
Mhm.
I don't have that obviously in front of me, but I could definitely get that for you next meeting.
I guess what drives that question is, obviously, we don't want fender benders, but that is less indicative of,
So yesterday, Colonel Cox and I had this exact conversation. So he's currently doing exactly that, a deep dive into
okay.
the accidents, what caused them, what the dollar amount ranges. He's gonna take that data, he's gonna work with the police academy, develop a training program to be able to address them. So we'll have an answer for you next meeting. We just don't have it right now.
Thank you.
We asked that last.
Which takes me, Commissioner Banks, you actually asked a question. Just refresh my memory from last month about what were the total losses. So in our vehicle accidents last year, we had 23 cars that were totaled due to vehicle accidents.
Okay.
I know that doesn't answer your question, but hopefully the deputy chief did. So this next slide is just overall department numbers, very quick, but again, some of the things that the public consistently asks us about. 600, exactly 600 arrests made by the department January 1 through 31. 98 guns seized, 29 of those were out of the VCI, the Violent Crime Initiative that we've talked about so much. And then 52 DWIs, which is exactly equal to what we did in January of last year. When we look at crimes against persons, so, last year, I think we were down about 10%. And the question from the board was, well, what? And I constantly throughout the year said, let's just not pat ourselves on the back. We actually went down to like 25% in the month of March last year, if you remember. Everything seems to always even out, and that's the way it did last year. So we're slightly down in crimes against persons, the 3.4%. But the homicides being down, obviously, is a good thing to start the year. Assaults overall would be up, as you can see, like assaults aggravated with hands, feet, or fist is up nearly 80%. When we look at crimes, sorry about that. Got the homicides by the numbers. So, and again, the last slide, we had 3. Those are just as a reminder. This year, those are homicides that have occurred in unincorporated St. Louis County or the contract municipalities. The 4 number is how many crimes against persons investigated in the month of January. So that would have meant that 1 was for a municipality. And I believe it was for Bellefontaine or Ferguson. Bellefontaine. The crimes against property.
Wait, can we go back? So the 100% clearance means of those 4, all 4 were
Clear.
completed and cleared.
So for crimes against property, again, it's been all over the news and all over the media. The main concern among citizens is the motor vehicle thefts. It's unfortunate to report, but we're obviously plus nearly 22%, up 219 from 180 last year. If you remember, we didn't really see the first 3 months of the year. It was kind of stagnant. Nothing really changed from 2022 to from 21. And now, right off the bat, we're seeing that number's increased. It took until about April of last year to where we really started seeing the spike from the Hyundais and Kias. But overall, again, crimes against property down almost 5%. And then the crimes against society, main thing on here, again, I think is to look at that DWI number, which I kind of spoke about, but even with last year and the great work that not only the men and women in patrol do, but more importantly, the Division of Special Operations and the Highway Safety Unit, whose sole job is mainly to do things like that in traffic enforcement, and they do a great job at it. When you look at calls for service, everybody, which again, not uncommon because it's January and we always take our rolling 5-month moving average. So each precinct slightly below that directed calls for service. But the main key here is self-initiated calls for service, which, as you can see in just the first precinct alone, if you look at the last 5 months, so November and December, they're in the 700s. 1,300, so almost 1,400. So what is that?
Wow.
What can we attribute that to? So again, the special enforcements obviously are mainly self-initiated type of activity. I don't want to say that this too much, but I think that the 12-hour shifts, obviously also with the overlay shift in the first precinct, have given those guys and gals a little bit less time at directed calls and more time to do self-initiated activity. And actually in 5 of the 8 precincts, we're over that moving average, which will be interesting to see over the next few months with the 12-hour shifts if that continues to move up. Their top calls, which we kept in there, if you guys wanted to keep that, but again, it's always sick cases are always going to lead the way, and extra patrols self-initiated. And then our TSR data. So from last quarter, the TSR committee will be meeting sometime here in the next month to discuss those final quarter of 2022. Any questions?
You answered them before I got to ask them.
Well, that's a good thing.
I think you're anticipating our questions.
Try.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much.
Yep,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Captain.
Thank you.
That's why he's where he is now, because he can read minds, he knows.
Oh.
Next up, Mr. Becker.
Good morning.
So just briefly on the staffing report, we have 81 vacancies for commission right now. 2 months ago, it was at 82. Last month, it was at 80. So it's hovering at that right now. We have 16 county recruits in this current class 207. They'll graduate on June 15th. There are also 14 municipal and 3 open enrollment recruits in that academy class. For professional staff, it's at 41 vacancies. That's up 3 from last month. Record clerks continue to be staffed fully. That's good. There's been no change in the number of security officers at 12 vacancies, and the number of dispatchers has gone down to 11 vacancies from 14 last month.
Can I give you a date? The graduation for the academy is the 22nd of June now.
I believe it's going to be the 15th of June.
No, it just got moved
Oh,
to the
okay.
22nd.
All right. And Captain, do you know, Captain Kelly? Where's graduation going to be at Merritt's again, or? All right. 22nd. And we have 0 out with COVID right now. I know that there's some interest in the county council to take back the mandatory testing of unvaccinated and to let that tracking system go away. It's really not an issue at all. And again, we have 5 out on military separation. We support reservists. And for applications for January of this year, we had 19 as compared to 33 in December. And that's probably because we were trying to fill an academy class, and there tends to be more applications going up close to the start of an academy class. Right now we have 5 in backgrounds, and tomorrow we have an experienced officer, a recruit candidate, and a security officer on a final review board. That's all I have.
Wait, wait.
Thank you.
It was this past Friday, I was at the cabinet meeting with all the department heads. They meet every once a month. And I mentioned some of the numbers, our hiring and people that we've lost through retirements or whatever, and gave the numbers about who we hired and I'm sorry, last year. And Dr. Page was impressed with the numbers of diversities that we had. They're also going to do a news article about it. So we'll see how it comes out. Commissioner, that's all I have.
Thank you. Next, we will approve our minutes from January 18th, 2023, our last meeting. I hope you've had a chance to.
Approve the minutes from our last meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those minutes will be approved. Okay. Any incoming communications? Okay. Any outgoing communications? I'm looking to the two of you that you'd like to discuss. No? Okay. Old business. Let's turn to our board 2023 priorities. We had a robust discussion on those at our January meeting. And we decided to table it, let the board members look at those priorities and come back to it at this meeting. So I'd like to open for discussion any thoughts we have on our 2023 priorities, things that we as a board would like to focus on this coming year.
I think we really pretty well discussed all of those things throughout the year leading to the end of the year. And so I don't
You want to move to
see
approve?
anything to
Move to-
update.
You want to move to accept?
Well, if I want to finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In any event, to answer your question, I don't see that there's any additional work that needs to be done on our priorities at this time. So with that said, I'd like to move that we accept the Board of Police Commissioner 2023 priorities.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, our board priorities will be approved. Okay, let's move on to new business. We have many contracts to approve. I'm sorry. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. Okay.
What are we looking at?
So in approving our contracts, Chief, would you like to introduce our guests? Would you like to introduce our guests?
Yes, here with us this morning in reference to a memorandum of understanding for tactical operations services. We have Chief Kurt Fritz from St. Charles County and Captain Kathy, who's over their TAC unit. And we're just looking for the approval for a memorandum in reference to working with them.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here and welcome.
I just want to say Kurt is a retiree from us, number of years, and he was over our tactical operations unit for quite some time. We have always had a great working relationship with St. Charles County in reference to a number of things that we're doing. I can remember in 2014 when we were in Ferguson and we needed some assistance from St. Charles County. I can remember the day that the prior chief was Dave Todd coming to assist us in Ferguson. You could have just, if you had just seen the number of officers he had coming into Ferguson to assist us, I mean, it was a very impressive sight. So we've had great working relationships with them, not only with the tactical operations unit that we're doing, we're also working on a pursuit policy with St. Charles County. So there was a great good working relationship with that particular region. So proud to have them be a part of it.
Wonderful. And again, thank you for being here. I know that I'll speak on behalf of this board and Richard and Thomasina can jump in if they think I'm overstepping my bounds, but we really feel strongly that St. Louis County Police Department is an integral part of the entire region. And so we really appreciate the opportunities and the collaboration to work on behalf of the entire region. Wonderful. Well, this is a memorandum of understanding with St. Charles County Police Department to provide mutual aid services in furtherance of the laws of the state of Missouri and assist each other by the provisions of specialized tactical operations services to their mutual aid in the protection of life, property, involving emergency incidents or special situations which arise and require such assistance. The agreement is non-expiring and there is no associated cost. May I have a motion to approve this MOU?
I move that this memorandum of agreement be, a memorandum of understanding, excuse me, between the St. Louis County Police Department, St. Charles County Police Department be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. This memorandum of understanding is approved. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The next contract I'd like to put up for consideration is a police service agreement with the city of Ellisville. It's to approve a contract for the assignment of one police officer to the St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy. The city of Ellisville will be reimbursed by St. Louis County for the amount of the employee's salary throughout the contract term, including payment for direct benefits and overhead. The term of the agreement is from December 31st, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $102,092.52. Sorry? Is from execution, did I say? I'm sorry, it's from execution through December 31st, 2023, to be clear. May I have a motion to approve
Move
this?
to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, this police service agreement is approved. The rest of the contracts are a series of professional service agreements to provide various courses with the St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy. I'm going to break them up into a couple of batches, but these are all with St. Louis County and Municipal Police Academy, so I'm not going to say that phrase over and over again. So the first contract is for CP Crime Scene Consulting and Seminars LLC to teach a program entitled Crash Scene Investigations on April 4th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $1,200. The next is a contract for CP Crime Scene Consulting and Seminars LLC to provide a program called Basic Crime Scene Photography on April 5th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $1,200. The next is a contract for Randy Means and Associates LLC to provide a course titled Creating and Maintaining the Well-Disciplined Organization on April 3rd and April 4th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $6,000. The next is a contract with Randy Means and Associates LLC to provide a course titled Managing Police Ethics, Liability Prevention, and Risk Management on April 5th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $2,000. And a contract with Randy Means and Associates LLC to teach a program titled Strategic Planning for Law Enforcement on April 6th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $2,000. And a contract for Advanced Police Concepts LLC to teach a course titled Advanced Field Training Officer Seminar on April 6th and April 7th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $4,000. May I have a motion to approve these contracts?
I move that the contracts be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. These contracts shall be approved. The next is a contract for Law Enforcement Risk Management Group, Inc. to teach a program titled Death Investigation for the First Officer or Supervisor on Scene on April 11th and April 12th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $6,000. A contract for Professional Law Enforcement Training LLC to provide a course entitled Marijuana Legalization Impact and Issues on April 13th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $3,350. A course with Training Force USA LLC to provide a course titled Supervisor on March 6, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $4,000. A contract with Training Force USA LLC to provide a course titled Overdose Death Investigations on April 14th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $4,000. A contract for Vista Law Enforcement Training and Consulting LLC to provide a course titled New Detective Investigative Workshop on April 5th through April 7th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $3,000. A a contract with Vista Law Enforcement Training and Consulting LLC to provide a course titled Street Encounter Officer Safety Tactics and Techniques on April 17th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $1,000. A contract with SBCM Protection Consultants LLC to provide a course titled The Devil Comes at Midnight on April 20th, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $1,000, and a contract with MARPA Group, Inc. to provide a course titled Statement Analysis on April 21st, 2023 at a cost not to exceed $125 per attendee. May I have a motion to approve these
And I
contracts?
have to ask a question.
Mhm.
I need some clarification on the professional service agreement from SBCM. The Devil Comes at Midnight. What is that?
Captain Jerry, can you answer that question?
Mhm.
Okay,
We'll get that back to you, Commissioner.
okay. Well, I would rather hold on that until we know what it is.
Okay, so that course is not scheduled for April, so we could
Until-
take that to our next meeting. So perhaps we can have a motion to approve the contracts except for
Devil
that
Comes at Midnight.
specific
Right.
contract.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, those contracts shall be passed. Approved. The final two contracts are professional services agreement. The first is an agreement with Missouri Behavioral Health Council for the creation of a software application for statewide CIT reporting, technical support, training and implementation, information dissemination of CIT information statewide for agencies with an originating agency identifier. The term of the agreement will be 1 year upon execution with the possibility of 3 additional 1-year extensions. Council will pay St. Louis County a rate of $7,500 per month for the tasks performed under the agreement. The second professional services agreement is with the Social Security Administration. It's a contract for $3,832,766. It's for a 4-year period and covers the cost of 3 detectives and 1 analyst at the Social Security Administration Cooperative Disability Investigation Task Force, as well as overtime, vehicles, and travel and training. The contract is due to the Social Security Administration no later than February 13th, 2023. May I have a motion to approve these service agreements?
So move.
Any discussion? Hearing none, may I have please say aye if you approve these contracts.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. These contracts shall be approved. Yes. Could you do the general order? Okay. The next item we have to vote for, or vote on rather, under new business is a general order. Chief?
Yes.
Hello again.
Hello?
So in front of you is General Order 23-121, which is entitled Recording Devices. Previously, this has been a special order on our department since we began with body cameras. This policy adds additional sections to further clarify instances when cameras should be deployed and terminated, camera usage for task force officers, how misconduct should be managed, and other administrative functions relating to the cameras. Copies of this were given to the Diversity and Inclusion Unit, Ethical Society of Police, the FOP, as well as the County Counselor's Office prior to submission. And it was also approved by both the executive command staff and command staffs of the department. So is there any questions regarding General Order 121, recording devices?
No, I don't have any.
So to clarify, what used to be in normal font was a special order. What's in bold font has been added and the whole thing is being made into a general order.
That's correct. And as you said, so we might have 2 to 3 policies for you next month. So same thing. Anything that's in bold is what's newly added. Anything that's regular has already been in.
Any further questions?
I read it. No, I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay.
May I have a motion to approve this General Order 23-121?
I move that the general order 23-121 recording devices be approved.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This general order is approved. Okay, one more brief item under new
Under
matters.
New business, wanted to make sure everybody's aware, if you're not by now, that Saturday, March 4th will be our second annual county versus city basketball game. Many of you were there last year. It is a great opportunity to interact with the community and for them to interact with us and our officers. It's, as it was last year, totally free for the public. It's a family event. Many of you brought your families, and please do the same thing. We will have, thanks to Save a Lot folks, we'll have free food. We have, this year will be held at Jennings High School. We are hosting as the county. Last year, if you recall, the first year, we had it in the city. So this year will be at Jennings High School at noon on Saturday, March 4th. Special thanks, of course, to the same people who we put together last year, Michelle Ryan and Colonel Cox. This year, we are coached, so we have a different outcome. We're coached by Coach Mann. Captain Mann will be coaching the team this year. I understand we have a few tricks up our sleeves this year. Is that right, Colonel? Okay. We have a new trophy that's done, so let's hope that we get to bring the new trophy to St. Louis County.
And home court advantage.
And yeah, hopefully home court advantage helps. The community engagement's involved with us in terms of making sure that we get all the food out for everybody. We have raffle items. The board's going to be donating another raffle item as we did last year for the grand prize drawing, and it should be a lot of fun. Chief, bring us winner this year. Okay. That's all.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is public forum. I understand we have a speaker today, Mr. Robertson. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much.
My name is John Denny Robertson. I'm one of 5 surviving charter members of the department. Started with the department with what it consisted of 95 commissioned officers in 1955. And I think we had 18 civilians. That was the beginning of the department. When this department was formed, the chief was given the rank by county ordinance to be a colonel. And we've now are close to 68 years in this department. And I think it's time to take a look at promoting the chief from colonel to general, which is now the major rank of almost all departments nationwide, with the exception of the middle or Missouri and the middle Midwest, which is conservative. But I wish that you would take the time to look at it. Do you want me to read the letter? Do I have time?
We have the letter. We'll read it.
Okay. What I'm trying to point out here is from day one, we've had 10 chiefs of police. And from day one, every one of those chiefs have contributed their ideas and made changes that has turned this department around from the mediocre department that I started in, where even the cars that I was riding in probably broke down on a normal shift or we lost communications. Today, this department, if you look at statistical facts, It is recognized as one of the best departments in the nation. Not only that, it's also receiving international recognition. We have been first in almost every item that exists as far as law enforcement are concerned. I am going to take a brief time to cover one thing. In 2010, the St. Louis County Department of Police was accredited by the Commission of Accreditation on Law Enforcement Agencies, CALA, and it's the only international body that accredits law enforcement agencies, and their records indicate that today, only 24% of all of the police departments in the nation have that accreditation. We also received another award, which is called the Tri-Arc Award. That reward is reserved for those police agencies who have successfully accredited their law enforcement services, police academy, and communications divisions. As of today, and I checked this before I came in here, according to that agency, there's only been 6 police departments in this nation that has actually received this recognition. We are way behind time as to trying to upgrade the rank of our chief. I want it clearly understood. I have not talked to a single member of this department concerning this suggestion. I did speak with Dr. Page last year when I was thinking about it. He sent me a letter back, which I still have, that stated that this is a board decision and the council, and he has nothing to do with it. So I have suggested it before, but if you look at the total rank of departments nationwide, the rank of general is there as their choice because of what we're experiencing. I mean, these officers today have to be trained for terrorist activities or the unexpected. And we've got it, not just from this chief, but from the other 9 chiefs. And that's the reason why I am respectfully suggesting that you do consider promoting our chief and future chiefs to the rank of general.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Are there any other public forum items? Chief, anything else? Okay. At this time, the Board of Police Commissioners may vote to go into closed meeting for legal advice and review of claims and lawsuits involving the police department, section 610.0211 RSMO and section 114.0201 1 SLCRO, and discussion of employee and personnel matters, section 610.0213 and 13 RSMOs, and sections 114.0201 3 and 13 SLCRO. May I have a motion to go into closed meeting? Oh, I'm sorry, this needs to be a roll call motion.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Hassler?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwerin?
Yes, we are now in closed meeting. Voted in the affirmative. That is all that I have to report on that. Are there any other matters to discuss?
No.
No,
If not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
move that we adjourn this meeting on, what day is it? What day is it?
February 8th.
February the
Eighth.
8th. The Board of Police Commissioners
Will be
determined.
likely.
Oh, March.
Likely March 8th.
March 8th.
Likely March 8th.
Second her motion.
Okay, maybe have a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Banks?
Yes.
Commissioner Hassler?
Yes.
And Commissioner Schwerin?
Yes, we are adjourned.
Thank you.